Welcome all, it's Russ. And in this video, we're going to talk about multidimensional data structures, which sounds like a big fancy term, but really what it just means is stuff inside other stuff. So let's look at a real simple example. Foo, bar, baz. All right, so what have I done? What I've declared here is an array that has 3 elements. So I can draw it as a box that contains 3 slots. And that's fine. That's a perfectly reasonable way to think about it. That's something that I view as a correct model for it. But if we really think about what's going on, we realize that, wait a minute, each of these strings is themselves another array, right? That this baz, if we go look at the details, it really is a 3-element array with the character B, the character A, and the character Z. So while we're drawing a picture of this, and I'm okay with this picture as long as we're talking about strings, really what we've got is we've kind of got arrays inside other arrays. And in the previous video talking about sorting, I gave you an example of that. Here's a simpler one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So this, the previous example in the sorting video, was an array of size 2 that contained, each slot was an array. Each array was of length 3. This is an array of length 3 that contains, each contains an array, and each of these arrays is of length 2. So how would we draw this? Well, I haven't shown you reference diagrams in detail here, but let me draw you a picture that will give you a pretty good model for it. So what we're going to have here is that we're going to have an array with 3 slots. But instead of drawing our values directly into it, we're going to have a set of arrows coming out of this, pointing to other things. And what's going to be here is the array 1, 2. What's going to be here is the array 3, 4. And what's going to be here is the array 5, 6. So what we have here is an array of length 3. And when we go into the first element of it, what do we have? We have an array of length 2. And also here, length 2. Length 2. Now, Python is perfectly happy for you to do this. This is perfectly routine, normal stuff. You can store a data structure inside another data structure. X equals this. Let's think about what happens when we start accessing the values of this. If we say y equals x, 0, what is y now? Well, y just now points directly to that array. Y is now 1, 2. What if we say that z equals x, 2? Well, now z points directly to that third array. Z is now 5, 6. What happens if we do a for loop over it? For element in X print the element. What are we going to get? We're going to iterate through the values of A. We're going to iterate through these three arrays. The first thing we'll see is the 1, 2 array. We print out the 1, 2 array. The next thing we'll see is the 3, 4 array. 3, 4. The next thing we'll see is the 5, 6 array. All right. Are there other things we can do? Well, because each of these literal arrays in here is just an element inside here, we could iterate through them as well. Let's change this print statement. Instead of printing E, let's for F in E. This loop iterates through X, the big outer array. Every element of this is one of the small arrays. So this is the outer array. This is always one of the inner arrays. So what is this? This is a single value. If we print that, if we print F, what are we going to get? Well, let's trace this with variables. We first set E equal to this. All right. Now F is the first value. So we print the value 1. Now F becomes the second value. And so we print 2. Now we're all done with that little internal array. So now we're going to have to change E. Now E is going to be this inner array, and F is going to be this. So we print 3, then we print 4, then E will move to the next array, and we'll print 5, we'll print 6. Now, we're going to do a lot of practice with arrays inside arrays. And I know right now that's daunting, okay? This I expect to be confusing to you. It's worthwhile for you to pause and really work through this by hand and understand why it prints out that sequence of numbers. But I know this is going to be daunting. But the point I'm trying to make here is that Python's okay with data structures inside other data structures. So what about some other things? Well, let's think about a data structure where we want to remember things in groups. So let's imagine that we're going to keep track of our diet. My wife and I, let's imagine that we were going on a diet. So we'll have a foods array. Let's draw this pictorially first. All right, so we've got Russ, and we have Emily. And for each of us, we want to keep track of what we've eaten. So I'm having a bad day, so a bad diet day, so I eat a burger. And my wife eats broccoli. I think that's the right spelling. And then I eat a pizza. And my wife eats sweet potato. And then I eat ice cream. And she eats, I don't know, cauliflower. All right, so we want to keep track of these things as we go. What would be a good way to store this? Well, it looks to me like we've got our keywords here look to be strings. And for each of these strings, we've got a set of values that we're going to store associated with them. Well, what if we said that we're going to keep for each person a list of what they've eaten that day, and it's going to be an array of strings. So there's an array of strings that represents everything that Russ has eaten. And here's an array of strings that represents everything that Emily has eaten. Now we need to be able to find these arrays. How are we going to do it? Well, it looks like that we've got these keywords, we've got keys that we're going to use to look up values. So we have key value pairs. What data structure do we have in Python that represents key value relationships? We have dictionaries. So really, to store this, foods equals a dictionary where the string Russ is a key that maps to an array of strings. And Emily, likewise, maps to a different array of strings. Now this is a multidimensional data structure the same way that our previous one was, isn't it? What do we have? We've got a dictionary data structure, and the contents inside the dictionary are a different type of data structure, in this case an array. That's perfectly valid. Python is 100% happy with this. Let's build a loop. For person in foods. All right, foods is a dictionary. What happens when you do a for loop over a dictionary? It iterates over the keys. That's why I said the value here is going to be person. All right. For one food in, what's the list of foods for this person? So here we say we're going to iterate through for one person. We're looking for all of the names. So it's going to do Russ and then it's going to do Emily. Then for that one person, let's iterate through all the foods they ate. And now we can say print, let's use an F string. Person ate one food. All right, what is this going to print? This is going to iterate first through the people. And so for one person, let's start with Russ. Russ ate burger. Then it's going to go to the next food that Russ ate. Russ ate pizza. Russ ate ice cream. And now that it's gone through this entire array inside the dictionary, it's now going to go to Emily ate whatever Emily ate. And so what we have here is a multidimensional data structure. We have things inside things. Python is happy to do this. I've shown you with 2 layers deep, although if you're really tricky, is this really 2 layers deep? Or is it 3? What's the 3rd layer? Strings. What is this data structure? This is a dictionary where the keys are strings, the values are arrays, and all the values inside the arrays are themselves strings. And strings are basically arrays as well. My point is, Python doesn't care how complex you make this. It's okay to store data structures inside other data structures. Let me draw one more for you, just to make sure you believe me. I won't even tell you what this one is. You're going to have to figure out. What does this one mean? What is this variable? I hope you learned a lot. I'll see you around. Bye-bye.